Part of what I wanted to say, I couldn't deliver. I didn't know anyway.
Such a bittersweet taste, such a perfect waste. Oh, hiding in the back of my conscious state.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
How have you been coping during the current climate at the moment?
I've been coping really well, to be honest. I'm enjoying this time, this quiet time to slow down and to do things I never had time to do before, focus on different areas of my life and just finding opportunity, honestly, in this stillness and this calmness. And I think it's going to, of course, I have so much empathy for the people that are suffering and going through a lot. I know that it's not all butterflies and rainbows, but I think that the best we can do right now is to find opportunity in this. We really don't have any other choice. So I'm just doing that and quite enjoying this quiet time, I must be honest.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's there are some positives to this. It doesn't like I say, I've been saying this to everybody who I've been interviewing. I've interviewed Barbara and I've interviewed Michael, and I've been saying that this does in some ways present opportunities for people to be creative and do creative things and like catch up on that TV show that guy mentioned to you that time, if you know what I mean, like, and stuff like that. Well, I meant to, but I keep rewatching Buffy and Supernatural because reasons. Because they're iconic shows, like, especially, yeah. So I've been watching them also. Speaking of for all things supernatural, let's talk a little bit about Reborn. Basically, in this movie, you're a young girl who was brought back to life by a lightning strike, and who was brought up pretty badly, and then you've had these telekinetic abilities. When you were doing research for the role, did you watch any particular comic book movies or read any comic books or anything like that for when you were researching this role?
Yes, I've never really been into comic books, but I've always been into supernatural things and movies. And so I just rewatched a lot of the Avengers, Superman, um, and to try to, when you're playing somebody who has superpowers, you want to be as authentic as possible, especially in your triggering, for example, of your said superpower, and you want it to be believable and you want it to be constant, right? You want it to be the same throughout the movie so that people can sort of get to know you as this character, as this person, and know, oh shit, like, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, I apologize, but
No, go ahead.
okay, shit's about to get real, and here she goes, like she's gonna, there's sort of tell signals. And so I definitely did watch a lot of superhero type movies to see how those actors did it and what I could take from them or not. And I had a lot of help from my coach, William James, who helped me to create this being and how to trigger it the same way each time, and really to get my instrument involved and what is my way of doing this. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's good because I like how, because this is about someone who pretty much in some ways could be considered a villain, but I've always liked in some superhero movies you get the origin movies of villains, like for example Magneto and X-Men First Class, and Smallville Lex Luthor, and it's interesting when you see what triggers them and what makes them become what drives them to become the bad guys, because they're not always bad people. It's just they're good people that's had bad things happen to them, which is the case for your character in this movie. So, which is why draw me to this movie, which I liked, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, is it true that according to Barbara Crampton, you were part of a lot of people were auditioning for this role, and you won the role over a lot of people? If that's true, how did that feel?
Yeah, auditioning is a crazy process as an actor. Because you go on so many auditions and eventually you stop even analyzing. It can become so detrimental to your mental health if every time after an audition you're like, did I get it? Did I not get it? Trying to read the room of the casting director or whoever's in there, and you're like, oh yeah, I nailed it, and then you don't hear anything back, or vice versa. And for me, um, I think I went through about 4 rounds of auditioning for this.
Wow.
And yeah, the first round, obviously there's tons of people and you're like, yeah, there's not really a chance. I'm just going to go in and have fun. And I really liked the script, and so I read the whole script and I did, what I could, and I worked with my coach, and then went in for the first round, got a call back. I think I went in again, got another call back, and then I didn't hear from them for like a month. And then I was like, okay, well, that's it for sure. It's done. Like it's obviously nothing's gonna come of this. And then they called me in again for like a producer session. And then Julian, the director, was in the room, and John, one of the producers, as well. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay, this is. And for the other 2 times that I auditioned, I was like, I thought I did really good. I left feeling like, yeah, I did all I could. I did a great job. And then for this producer session, they asked me a few questions about how I felt about Tess, the character, and why I think she's doing the things she's doing. And so you're kind of put on the spot, but then I really just went with my gut and what I felt. And when I left that audition, to be 100% honest, I was like, nah, I didn't get it. Like I had that feeling. I called my coach and I was like, look, I think I did a good job, but I don't think they really liked me that much, and I don't think that I got it. I just, and then of course I get a call that I got it, and I'm like, what? You never know. You never know. You have to really just go in and pour your heart and soul out, and then leave it in their hands. So that was sort of the process. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. The amount of times that I've applied for jobs in the past, and I'll go into an interview, and it'll be a great interview, and I get on really well with the people I'm chatting to in the interview. Have a good banter and a laugh, and I walk out of there thinking, yeah, this is great, this is awesome, this is brilliant, I've got this, and you don't get it. And then you walk into an interview, and I got a projectionist job back in 2008, but the interview was really bad, and I was grilled with all these technical questions, and then I ended up getting the job as well. I got the job, but it was just the interview I thought was really bad. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get it. So yeah, it's always the way. It's always the one. It's always the interview. If the interview goes really great, then you probably didn't get it. But then if the interview goes crappy, you probably did get it. It's always the way.
Right, and I think that the lesson in that, right, is that you really have no control over the universe or what is meant to be at the end of the day, and as an actress, you walk into the room and they pretty much know. You can be an incredible actress, the best actress in the room by far, and if you don't fit the role, if for the director or the writer you walk in and you just don't click, you're not going to get it no matter how good you are. And so you have to like leave your ego at the door and just know that, just do your best, and like if it's meant to be, it will be in the end. So
What was the defining moment in your life, or that made you say to yourself, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be an actress. I want to get into this.
well, I think actually I watched Tomb Raider. That's what it was. I watched Tomb
Nice.
Raider with Angelina Jolie, and I was like, I want to be a badass. I want to do that. I want to do it on screen. I want to be able to to kick some ass, but then also to be this different person, be a whole, full, living, breathing being. It's like, you know, in our lives, we get to experience, okay, like, who is it to be Kayleigh in this life? And as an actor, you get to do so much more than that. You have an excuse to fully delve into being a different person in this lifetime, and that is so cool. That is so cool that you can do that. That I can come and be this sort of crazy girl who has electrokinesis, and she's had all these deep struggles and so much pain, and I get to fully experience that as a person, and people feel that way, and so it just, yeah, it really lights me up. And I think that has to have been my defining moment when I watched that movie, and I was like, I want to do that. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that's the truth. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was great because you basically, in my opinion, you've hit the ground running because of the amazing people you've got to work with in this movie, from Michael Pare. Oh my God, I don't want to. I hate butchering the last names. And Barbara Crampton, who was brought in at the last minute. What was it like working with them, with Michael and Barbara?
It was so great. It was so, what really I love about it is how authentic and grounded and genuine they are, and kind. They're kind people. And no matter the success that they've had before, they were so supportive, and we got along really well. We had great chemistry. We were always there for each other when we needed each other. And it was just a breath of fresh air, honestly, to work with them and see how they treated everybody around them, with so much so much kindness and appreciation and respect. I think was a really, really big thing that I enjoyed. And there was no drama. I mean, of course, it's a very dramatic movie, but considering that, I mean, it was really wonderful to see them work, and to work with them, and to be able to work together in that.
Good. So, well, with this now, obviously you've got a few more movies along the line. Do you have a particular wish list of actors or directors who you would like to work with in the not too distant future?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I love anything fantasy is my big thing. So, and I also love crazy things. So Tim Burton, for example, I love his work a lot. But then, of course, like James Cameron, Martin Scorsese. There's so many that I'd love to work with. And in terms of actors, oh my goodness, that list is a very, very long one. I love Angelina Jolie. I think because I've just got a soft spot for her, because she really lit that fire for me, I think. And of course, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, Kate Blanchett. Um, yeah, there's a lot of people. It would take me a long time to name all of them. And you know how it is, like when you put on the spot, you're like, oh my goodness, there's so
Oh yeah,
many. And I know after this interview, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, there's so many other people I would love to name. But um, Gary Oldman is incredible. I'm actually just rewatching all the Harry Potters right now, and I'm just,
nice,
that's my world. I think like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Game of
nice,
Thrones.
nice.
That's my dream. Yeah.
I recently rewatched all the Harry Potter films back in January
Mm.
because I liked them when they came out, and my best friend Caroline, who read all the books, I watched them with her, and she got a little cheesed off with some of them because they were not always like the books.
Mm.
I mean, I liked them, but I was so pro Lord of the Rings because I prefer Lord of the Rings over Harry Potter, because Lord of the Rings were only three films, but they were just three magnificent, epic films. But rewatching the Harry Potter films this time around, I had a lot more appreciation for them, for the actors and everything, especially the Severus Snape, Alan Rickman timeline, the story arc. Because Deathly Hallows Part 2, especially, is my favorite of all of them now. It was Prisoner of Azkaban, but Deathly Hallows Part 2 now, because the whole Severus Snape storyline, especially. So, yeah.
It's incredible, is he not? Like when I watch him, I'm just like the being that he built, to everything about him, the thoughts he's having, his movements, his physicality is just like it's to the T, absolutely incredible. And yeah, I have to say I don't know if you've ever watched Outlander. I know it's a little bit different of a
Hmm.
theme, but I love that whole medieval time is also something that really tickles my fancy, like set in Scotland, and I love all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's not too far from fantasy. So in a way, in its own little way, it's not too far away from fantasy, in a way.
Yeah. No, there's
So
definitely
yeah,
time travel and stuff.
is there a book that you're a fan of that hasn't been adapted to film or TV or Netflix yet that you'd love to be a part of,
Actually, that is a very good question. And
or video game? I'm throwing that in
hmm,
there.
well, no, not that I can think of, but now you've really inspired me to go out and find it. So
Hmm.
often I read a book and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to act in this, but then it's already been adapted in some way, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, a lot of these things are getting reshots or readapted, and like spin-offs being made and stuff, which I think is really, really cool. Um, yeah, I'm going to think about that actually. That's a very
Yeah.
good question. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I play a lot of video games. Because it's a question from Mark. He's always getting me to answer that, and I do it, and then I'm always like, ask about books, but I'll mention video games as well because there's a lot of great video games out there like Fallout and Destiny and Halo especially. I'm like, can we please make these into movies already? I know Halo is going to be a TV show produced by Steven Spielberg for Showtime. That's
Oh,
happening.
wow. Okay.
So yeah, because Steven Spielberg actually plays Halo. So yeah, yeah, he actually plays the video game Halo. So fun fact for anyone about Spielberg, because if you see Ready Player One, the movie, there's actual Halo Spartans in the game, from the game, running around. But that's a film that's got like 8.3 billion references and Easter eggs all over the place. If you're into movies and video games, with the emergence of streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus, what do you think the future of cinema is? Especially considering the climate of what's happened over the past couple of months.
So do you mean cinema as in going to the theater, or do you mean like the actual movies that are going to come out?
Well, like for example, Netflix and Disney Plus are very popular right now, not just because of the success of the likes of The Mandalorian, House of Cards, and some of the great shows they have, original content they have on there, but also because of the situation that we had over the past couple of months. Do you think more movies are going to be more released more on streaming than cinema? That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
See, yeah, it's very interesting because I think definitely there's potential for that, and especially like on another note, Quibi, for example, which I'm sure you've heard of. Have you heard of Quibi?
Quibi.
Quibi. So it's a new platform of short. It's basically like feature films. I just did a project actually that is coming out soon, and it's like written sort of like a feature film, and then it's split into 10-minute episodes that are on your cell phone, and you can only view it on
Oh,
your cell phone. And Steven Spielberg has one that came out, I believe, as well on there. There's a few really, really great projects, and so things are just getting smaller and smaller. And what that was for convenience, was for when people are traveling to work, on the train or something, and or like in an Uber, and they need like 10 minutes just to quickly watch an episode of something. And so it's right at their fingertips, it's on their phone. And so that's just an example of an extreme version of how things are getting more and more, how do you say, like concise and smaller, for example. But I still think that nothing can take away from the experience of being in a cinema. I think that there's something
Mm.
about being in that theater, about being surrounded completely, having no distractions, as well. People like that. People like not having to be on their couch, and then there's distractions all around, and then there's people bothering them, and then their phone rings. When you go to the cinema, it's a full on experience. You get the smell of the popcorn, and um, so I don't think that will ever go away. And I think actually right now people are craving it more than ever, because now they're getting bored of just sitting on their couch and watching Netflix movies. There's a point where it's nice, and then there's a point where it's like, okay, I'm over this now. I want to go out and I want to go into the cinema. And also the great thing about a cinema is the energy, right? Because there's people all around you that want to be there, that want to watch this film,
Mm.
and there's anticipation and that buildup of energy, and then sometimes people are clapping and people are crying around you. And I think that community, I don't think that will ever go away. I really hope not anyway.
Yeah. Well, one fine example, I need to mention this, especially w me. I used to work as a cinema projectionist a long time ago, but what I did was I got free cinema from Cineworld, but I still went to the BFI IMAX that time to watch movies because of how massive and epic it is. And I especially tried to go to midnight screenings of movies when they first come out at midnight because that's where you get the best audiences. And
Mm.
me and my best friend, Matty, we always went to the Avengers movies, especially Infinity War and Endgame. When you're watching it with that crowd at midnight, they're the most dedicated crowd and they're cheering to everything. Anyone who's lucky enough to see Avengers, any of the, especially Infinity War and Endgame at the midnight screenings, and even the Harry Potter ones. Well, I went to the Harry Potter ones at midnight as well, the last few, and the crowd were up for it then, and they're electric crowd. They cheer and clap to everything, and it's amazing. And I love that experience, especially when it's the IMAX cinemas, like the Cineworld Leicester Square or BFI IMAX. The sound is incredible. The screen is humongous, and the crowd is epic, and they're up for it, especially those midnight screenings. So yeah, I love that. I mean, Netflix and Disney Plus have got amazing original content on it, but for example, Wonder Woman is going to be out later this year, and I want to see that at midnight at the BFI IMAX. That's going to be wicked.
Yeah, and I mean, but how many times do you hear people say, "Oh, I wish I saw this on the big screen," or "You have to see this on the big screen because it's not the same.
Yes,
It's not the same as watching it on your TV. It's just not.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when Cloverfield came out. I watched that on the big screen, and then I got the DVD, and I watched it, and I'm sitting here and I have a nice HD TV and everything, but it's like I'm watching. I'm like, it isn't the same. It's like watching Cloverfield on a squeak screen TV on a in a cinema. It's mental. It's like insane. But then when you watch it at home on your TV, no matter how big your or how much awesome your surround sound is, it isn't the same. No way for films like that. Cloverfield and Avengers and everything like that. It's not the same. So I know a lot of cool stuff on Netflix and all that that you do wish you'd seen on the big screen as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, good point. Very good point you made. What would you like your audience to? What would you like people to take away from Reborn when it comes out on digital next month on May 4th?
So I get asked this question, and I would like to leave that relatively open because I want everybody to have their own experience. I'm very big on that. I would love them to watch it and just fully be open to receiving the experience as a whole, because it definitely touches on a lot of subjects, and it is takes you on quite a roller coaster of a ride. So just to be open to it, to go along for the ride and enjoy it, and find little nuances in what it is, and perhaps it's very deep in a lot of ways too. Of course there is the horror and all of that, but for me, especially as the actress, and I've liked horrors, but I've been one of those people who watches it with my eyes closed and the sound off because I'm so terrified. And so it was a great opportunity for me to actually be the villain, quote unquote, in this, so that I could see the other side of it, you know. And yeah, I think that just for them to, I would love them just to experience it in whatever way they experience it. And yeah, I wouldn't want to affect that too much. I'd like them just to have their own experience of it, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a fair answer. Yeah, fair point, definitely. Yeah, well, I like I said, I've seen it twice, and I think it's a wicked film. I really like it. It's really interesting, just to see kind of from the villain's point of view as well, you know, and why they do the things they do, and and what triggers them to do what they do and everything. And it was good to see Barbara's character and her point of view as well, and what she had to struggle through. And yeah, I really like this movie. So yeah, it was really cool. So, what are you looking forward to working on when things get back to, well, normal,
Normal.
or
Yeah,
whatever
well,
that word means?
I have a series, like I said earlier, coming out within the next few months. It should be coming out, and that'll be on Quibi. It's called Don't Look Deeper, and it's about artificial intelligence, which is really, really cool. And I play a robot, which is so awesome. There's a lot of special effects got done. I was sitting in makeup every day for a few hours. So it's going to be quite a transformation. So I'm looking forward to that coming out and opening more doors for me, because I really want to be known as an actress who doesn't do just any one thing. You know, I would love to do all of it and to really be able to transform. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I think that this is going to create a lot of time right now for people, for writers, directors to be writing and be really creative and to think of ideas, and then we'll hit the ground running, you know, once this is all over. And I think that a lot of people are going to be have had time to rest and rejuvenate and come up with more creative ideas. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, just auditioning for the things that I really enjoy. And I hope to be in a few really good projects soon, and I feel good about it. I feel really positive. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Reborn is out May 4th, here in the UK, Star Wars Day, of course. On, I believe, VOD digital, and I believe Blu-ray and DVD as well. We hope so. But Kayleigh, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today, and hope everything is well with you, and hope you're doing all right.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on and for being a fan of the movie. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody enjoys it so much. I loved being a part of it, and yeah, get your Reborn on.
Yeah, that should be the tagline. Get your Reborn on. Yeah,
Get your
or
Reborn on.
maybe for a sequel. We'll see.
Exactly. That would be.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
You're not going to leave me again, are you?
You're not my daughter. Don't say that. You're not. You did this to me! You did this!
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, with the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels. It's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.